Christmas happens, that's what I'm going to do.
That's it. You just like it now forever.
Yeah, I might just wear it in January.
Yeah.
February. I mean, time is an illusion, as we've figured out these past couple of years. So, I mean, when is it not Christmas?
Yes, these past couple of days.
Exactly.
Longest days ever.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's a good start to the episode. Welcome, friends, to Tanked Up, the podcast all about video games and beer. I'm one of your hosts, Ben. It's episode 295. I'm here with Aadil.
Hey!
And Lucy.
Hello.
And joining us to round our year out, it's Adam.
Hello.
How?
Back again.
Yeah, back again, absolutely. How is everybody?
Who is everyone? Were
Yeah.
you going to say who is everyone?
No, I was going to say who. I was going to say who is good, and then I thought, no, that doesn't really make sense.
It's been a long
How is
day.
everyone?
It is, in fact, nearing the end of 2021. Everything can be forgiven.
Everything.
I mean,
Get
there's a
your
couple of people.
jabs.
Yeah, there's a couple of people who are exempt from that, I guess.
Yeah.
For you, Ben, we'll let it slide.
Thank you. It's very kind of you. Let's open up some beers. I'm gonna kick off this week. I've got two beers from Good Chemistry. I went down to the tap room to pick up a big box of beers from them yesterday to see me over, probably for a few days rather than actually Christmas. But I drink a couple of them tonight. I'm going to start off. Both of them, I haven't had either of them. I don't believe, from my very swift Googling, that we've drank any of them, and that you haven't had them either, Aadil, on an episode. But the first one is Uncertainty Principle. It's a Weizenbock, 6.5%. Big old orange can, a lot more orange than you can see on the screen. But the flavour text is this German-style strong wheat beer is packed with flavours of banana, toffee, and booze. Deliciously rich as the nights draw in. As Good Chemistry do, they have their sort of percentages on the front, and they let me know that it is 32% hoppiness, 78% maltiness, 20% bitterness, and 68% sweetness. So I am going to crack that one open first. We'll roll around in the circle. Aadil, we'll come to you next.
Me. I cracked into my Christmas presents from my housemates early.
Amazing.
Because I saw a bottle-shaped thing. So this bottle is courtesy of Carrie. She's from Wales, and it's from Untapped, which is in Monmouthshire, and it is the Diolch. I'm saying it wrong. Diolch. Yeah, it's an aromatic Citra Pale Ale. It's 4.4%, and it comes in a suitable for vegans 2.2 unit bottle.
Perfect. Crack it open. Lucy, what are you drinking today?
I'm drinking a beer from Amundsen.
Ooh.
And I don't know how I bought this, but I did.
Okay.
Maybe I was under the influence when I bought it, you know.
With money? Hopefully.
For a song, just, a little dance.
It is a triple-fruited blueberry muffin stack sour, which...
That's a lot. That's a lot of things.
Yeah. Blueberry muffins, which I haven't had a muffin in God knows how long. It's 6%. It's a Munson, so that's probably why I bought it. I was just like adding things to the cart, and this got put in because it said a Munson. So
muffins. Nice bottle-shaped muffins.
And it's a collab with Sudden Death Brewing. Maybe that's why.
Okay.
I like Sudden Death as well. Who knows?
It's a great Van Damme film. Sudden Death.
As a lot of Van Damme films were.
Were is definitely the word there.
Yes. Yeah, I bought that, and
nice.
I'm going to drink it now.
Perfect. Adam, we'll roll round to you. Have you got a drink of choice this evening?
Just my classic Pepsi, as usual.
Classic.
I always thought Coca-Cola was the classic one.
Pepsi's better. We've had this discussion.
We have.
I mean, I agree, but at the same time, there makes no difference, really, does it?
Nah.
It does, because if you want a Coca-Cola, I suppose you could get a Pepsi and then put it under a radiator for 4 hours, and then drink it like that. And it tastes like Coca-Cola.
Yummy.
Scrumptious, yeah.
You're really not selling me on this point, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe
I think
don't do that.
I think I'll just stick to having this.
That's fair. That's fair. We will come back round then to the beers. This Uncertainty Principle smells lovely. It's incredibly sweet, and that just the banana comes off that nose massively. It's sort of this lovely sort of bronzy colour, a little bit of a brown tint to it rather than sort of a yellowy, orangey. But it's sort of almost amber rather than sort of bronzy on my side rather than sort of what you see on the screen. A little bit of head when it poured, but that dissipated really quickly. Well, that's incredibly malty. I know that is the top sort of percentage in what they put on their can, but that is really, really malty. And it is lots of banana. It's really bready as well, and I think that slight sweetness. There is that toffee in there, but that kind of almost takes a bit of a back seat. It's like banana bread almost as a beer. Sort of just that little sort of lift of sweetness as well with the toffee. That's really nice.
Bread.
It's quite thin, a little bit carbonated as well, and you do just have that touch of spice with it as well. So whatever sort of esters are going on in here, or whether what's happening to make that kind of banana-y sort of flavour, it's also giving off just a little bit of peppery, a peppery hit as well, kind of towards the end as that carbonation starts to go away. That pepperiness just comes in very slightly and sits almost alongside that toffee sweetness very nicely. It's a really short finish though. It's almost gone. It's the pepperiness is the thing that kind of lasts, which again is then drying me out, making me want to go back in for more.
Been a while since we've had a Weizenbock.
Yeah, it's been ages since I've had one.
Ages since I've seen one.
Yeah. So, 6.5% that one was. It does say it's boozy as well, and I think some of that does come through with that pepperiness, with that sort of sweetness from the toffee as well. That does come across. So, that's going to go back incredibly quickly. So I will swiftly move on, Aadil, to you for was it a brewery called Untapped?
It's called Untapped Brewing.
It's got an E between the P and the
it's an Untapped.
Yes.
I also missed the flavor text, which I think is worth saying, which is just a special beer for special people. A heartfelt thank you to all our customers who have been so supportive of us during this trying year. Organic malted barley and a pure Citra hop bill combined to make a satisfying and fresh pale ale. Yeah, they've been Raglan since 2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
New to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. It is clear as heck. You can see my eye through it rather creepily. Nice straw gold color. Poured with about 1.5 times as much head. And then I topped it off from the bottle. Lovely, slightly appley nose, like a sweet apple with obviously a bit of citrus. But yeah, almost smells cider-esque, I would say.
Interesting.
It does look like a cider as well.
Right, yeah.
True. Maybe if it was a bit more carbonated.
Yes.
It'd be like, cider.
But it's not a cider. It is. I think they said satisfying in the flavor text.
Mm-hmm.
Is it satisfying?
It is. It's really clean. I mean, not surprising given how clear it is, but just a lovely hit of Citra, right? You're getting all the Citra notes. It's really clean. it's a type of beer where you're like, ah, yes, it's a little sweet. Oh, this is nice. Nice beery taste, some citrus notes. And then it ends with this really bittering finish. This is a one hop beer that is like, nah, don't worry about it. I'm going to finish bitter, which is exactly what I want. I've been missing, last few weeks, I've had these quite light, nuanced, more delicate beers that also have sort of that delicacy in the finish. And this is much more, yes, this is a very hopped beer that is no shame in finishing with a nice bitter taste. And again, because it's Citra, it's not like the bitter Citra finish is like in your face. It's not harsh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a really nice juxtaposition of that clean, slightly sweet foretaste, and then by the finish, you're like, ah, yes, I'm gonna relax into there's just bitterness, this lingering bitterness that's means you don't have to go reach for it. It's going to keep you that beery taste with you. And like I said, that slightly appley sweetness is there sort of even to the finish, which helps balance things out. I mean, now that my palate is used to it, it's not as like, oh yeah, this is bitter because I've got also the finish just stays through sips. Like it's not really fading that much between sips, so it's just this nice constant. I had a Korean pale ale earlier today at dinner, and it was very clean and had finished much lighter as you would expect from an Asian beer. It's not. This is like no, don't worry, there are hops, and the hops are here to stay. Yeah, it's really excellent. It's
nice.
Good. Nice. Untapped.
Yeah, Untapped.
What
Look them up on
easy one
Untapped.
to remember.
We don't see many Welsh beers outside of us drinking a lot of Polly's, and then there's sort of the standard names which seem to have dropped off a little bit in the past couple of years, like Tiny Rebel, because I don't know why. I suppose they did sort of scale up quite significantly. Maybe that sort of affected quality, but I don't think any of us really pick them up anymore. There was another one. They were called something like. They weren't called Oatly. Obviously, that's oat milk, but a brand of oat milk. But there was another one with a big O on the bottle, which were around when we first started recording. I remember having a couple of their beers sort of in the early days of the podcast. So we're talking sort of 5-6 years ago, but I haven't seen them for years. So yeah, it's always interesting to find nice beers from just over the bridge to be able to bring back here. Perfect.
They make good beer over there.
They do.
Oh, it's Oakley.
Oakley, like the sunglasses.
No, but it's Oakley, like Oakley.
Yes, that's what. Yes,
Oakley.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are they still around?
They're on the Brewery Bible /post/Wales-breweries, so they must be, because that website must never be out of date. I couldn't imagine that being the case.
Who knows? There's no way to find out past that one website, so we'll never know. But Lucy, we'll come to you for the Amundsen collab.
Yeah. Mine looks like if you have like I'd say probably like 80s slasher films when they were making blood, but it was before people learned how to make blood look realistic.
Oh,
and it was like goopy and pink.
Like corn syrup and red food together.
Oh wow, yeah.
That's what mine looks and pours like. Very, very gloopy, very pink. It looks like a creek. But like a cherry creek. But yeah, it looks like something out of The Thing, which I'm deeming as a Christmas movie.
There's snow. It's Christmas. It's fine.
Yeah, what a great film. I love that film. Yeah, you can smell like the muffin. It does smell like a blueberry muffin. They fit that bill. It's got a slightly sweet, I guess like brown sugary kind of nose to it. But yeah, it's got this slightly bready, slightly Moorish kind of bent to it. I don't know how they've achieved that. But yeah, it's ridiculous how much it smells like a blueberry muffin.
Mm.
It's quite astonishing, really. They just do magic over it, you know, in a Amundsen. Like all the stouts that they do that have all these different, oh yeah, this is Oreo cookie and stuff like that, and it smells like an Oreo cookie, and it's just it boggles my mind how they do it. They're just scientists and wizards over there. But yeah, look, it still looks nice, you know, like it's got nice lacing on the glass.
Mm-hmm.
And it does look a bit milkshakey, but it looks nice.
And so hopefully when you say it poured sort of a bit gloopy, it's not sort of like that to drink.
No, it's not heavy at all. 6%, so, you know, it's probably on the heavier side for like a sour.
Yeah.
Usually, but yeah, it's got a bit of creaminess, a bit of thickness to it, but it's not as dense as it looks as it pours in the glass. It's actually quite light. It's lighter than I would have thought. Yeah, it's really easy, really smooth. It's not too sour. There's a little bit of sourness, but really you're getting more of the fruit. You're getting more of that blueberry, and it's not like blueberries are not that tart. It's not like a tart cherry. It's very much more of a slightly sweet, you know, very. It's almost watermelony because I'm getting that lightness and I'm getting that not thinness, but it's like almost a watery quality where it's not too heavy and it's just you're getting the fruit, you're getting a tiny bit of sourness, but none of these things are like overwhelming and just making for like a bad mouthfeel or bad drinking experience. It's really well balanced in that sense. As I say, if you're looking for a sour, something that's going to be very tart and puckering, this is not it. But I think, you know, it would be to its detriment if it did those things, you know, to the extent where it's like, okay, I'm going to get a sour, it's going to like draw my facing, like on The Simpsons in Lemon of Troy when he just eats the lemon and his face just folds into itself. It's not that at all. It's actually quite easy. And having drank a little bit of it, I think I'm getting that 6%. There's a little bit of booziness as well. That creeps in very slowly, but yeah, it's nice. As I say, it's not the flavour that I particularly go for. I think what I'm most impressed about this is the fact that they actually made it smell like a blueberry muffin.
Yeah.
That's incredible, and that's worth the price of admission if you just want to sniff a blueberry muffin that isn't, you know, stale from Tesco or anything like that. But yeah, it smells like freshly cooked pastry or bread or something. It's really nice. But yeah, it's good. It's if Amundsen do anything, they give you what it says on the tin. It's a blueberry muffin. And there's no smoke and mirrors. You know, smells like a blueberry muffin. Yeah, tastes a little bit like one. I guess there's a bit of maltiness, bit of creaminess to it. So yeah, it's good.
Good. Let's enjoy these then and chat about some video games, what we've been playing, anything in the industry that we want to talk about this week. Adam, we would normally kind of launch in first with you as the guest, but you have prepared for us a little top 10 for the year. A little top 10, but which we're going to get to, I think, in the second half of the episode. But we'll come to you to see what we've been up to, what we've been playing, what we've been doing since you last came on, you know, like 20 minutes ago.
That's a good question. What have I been doing since I was... What did I last talk about when I was on here?
Chivalry 2. Because then Lucy came on like a week later because she missed that episode and then talked about Chivalry 2.
So please continue to talk about Chivalry 2 too.
I've been having connection issues.
Oh.
I don't know why.
Oh. Like
and
you
cannot play that game.
Or like with other people.
Chivalry 2 and other people. It's just that's my life, you know.
Only one of them is new.
Yes. Yeah, I've been having connection issues, so I haven't played as much. Plus, there's a new hot game that's been taking over my life recently, which I'll speak about later. But yeah, Chivalry 2.
So you've been enjoying it then?
I have. I've enjoyed the absolute bedlam. I'm just just running into a group of like. My favorite parts of that game is when you're like, I can't remember which map it is or something like that. When there's basically this bridge and it's just a narrow choke point, and it's just everyone just in the middle, just hacking at each other. And it's just
the map design's pretty good for that. There is some open areas as well, but they do have a good kind of flow to them where they do funnel you all into kind of like bridges or gateways or whatever, and you do end out just in the. Well, we have to get through, so let's all just go for it and see what happens. And eventually, someone will make it. And usually the first person through ends up getting an arrow in the face or something, but you know. Eventually someone gets through, you know. No, it is great fun, because it is just chaotic and mad. You can be in the middle of a great deal with someone and then watch as someone runs up behind them with a box and just smacks them with it.
It seems it's
the
much
more
more
irritating version is when it's you that gets smacked by a box. Like, I was in the middle of a good
case.
I was just about to get him too, and then
it definitely feels like it's much more akin to the sort of the battle scenes that we see in more modern sort of fantasy settings, stuff like Game of Thrones, which was, you know, more gory and everyone was just getting absolutely battered, and kind of the heroes and stuff, you know, are a little bit better, but they still get sort of injured and stuff, and when people are assaulting a city or something, it is just carnage at a gate.
No. I'm Legolas fighting off everybody, you know? And Gimli, that's who I am. I'm the best Chivalry 2 player. I'm counting the numbers.
But even Legolas isn't immune to getting an axe in the back. It's just how it goes. If you can hit them with it, they'll still die.
Would have been a very different film, and it would have, ended Orlando Bloom's career prematurely. It should have been. So
I mean, has he done anything?
Pirates.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, since his franchise.
I think he went back onto like Broadway or something like that.
Ah, yes.
Or like theatre. He's not a great actor, but he tries. Bless him. That's all he can ask for.
I'm sure he's weeping into his millions. So I tried so hard. No one loves me.
What else you been playing, Adam? What else you been up to?
Well, the other recent thing that came out has been Forza Horizon 5.
Oh yeah,
that I have been playing. It's also in my top 10 list for later.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Because we didn't really talk that much about it last. We won't be talking much about it next week.
I try and play that, but every time I do, this is why I'm glad for Quick Resume on the Xbox, because if any point I'm put in the menu, I just leave it hanging on the menu with that really nice song. That very nice I'm in Holiday in Mexico song. That's on the title screen. And just like, I'm not playing this anymore. I'm just going to chill out now.
I'm surprised to hear that, because your Drivatar is the bane of my existence.
Good.
Every time, there you are in your stupid wee Mini Cooper getting in my way.
Trust me. This is what I don't like about Drivatars, because never in my life would I ever drive a Mini Cooper.
Even in a game.
In a game.
I mean, take it up
real
with
life.
Playground. They're the ones that set this up, but that's what it would be. I'd be doing some of the kind of cross country ones, like the green labeled ones, where
I can hate the green ones. I'm so bad at them.
There's a bit of tarmac, there's a bit of dirt, and just across the country, just whatever courses, and there you would be, either first or second in your Mini Cooper, getting in my fucking way, and I'd be doing my nut. Particularly, so I just get past you, and then you'll just crash into me at the next corner. It's fucking.
It's
Yeah,
like
but that
I'm
does sound
actually
like
there.
Lucy.
Yeah, that is absolutely how I
Proper
play.
arcade racing, just bounce off of the other
Yeah.
people around the corners. Yeah,
I'm not
That's
following
how
these
you.
green lines in the
I mean,
tank.
that's the
If
only
it's
way
not
you win.
red all the time, then you're not driving properly. I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
Yeah.
You know?
I love that expression because it doesn't mean anything. Because, like,
Of
yeah,
course it
then
doesn't.
another quarter mile comes, so you also live your life half a mile at a time. Like,
Look, Vin Diesel does what he wants to do, man.
yeah, I mean, now he wouldn't even say that. He'd just be like, I live my life a quarter family at a time.
No, it's the whole family. It's never just
because there's only a quarter of it left.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
COVID. Mate. Don't be playing the driving anymore. Just play COVID. That's probably.
I mean, yes. I'm so into family. I've never told you about my convenient brother, who is a assassin man or something.
Did that one come out yet? I need to see
It's been out and done and dusted. I still haven't seen for 9.
Is there ever been
Which
Lucy?
one's 9? How many are there?
Yeah. And
Technically, there are 10 because there was the spin-off with
The Rock and Jason
Statham.
Statham.
And The Rock.
I saw that one. I don't want to see that one.
Yeah, they're on my list. Or if you
which is the
count
one-
the Justin Lee backdoor
Oh, yeah.
Asian game. What was that movie called? I can't remember. It doesn't matter.
I don't know.
There's like
Look at me.
407
So there's
Fast
10
and Furious
there.
things.
Well,
There's 10.
there's 10, but 9 in the main canon, and a secret. One of the main directors since 5 insists one of his previous movies is in it because Han starred in the previous movie, so technically it must be in the canon.
Hey.
Yeah, I don't think that's how that works.
I know too much about the Fast and Furious franchise.
Well,
I bet
do you know,
less than I do, which is even sadder.
Lucy, as a Forza Horizon kind of player who's played multiple versions of this, has there ever been a Fast and Furious crossover?
Yeah.
There has. Okay.
In was it 3?
3?
I think it was
The one in Australia?
I do remember that. So yeah.
Okay.
Never
There's
played it,
definitely
but I
been
remember
one.
it being a thing.
Mm.
Yeah,
Because I'm sure that's the
standalone
same.
thing. It's alright, yeah. I played
The
it.
same year they did Hot Wheels or something as well.
I think it was before the Hot Wheels.
It just-
It was
doesn't-
2. It was Forza Horizon 2 presents Fast and Furious.
Because it does seem like
Oh, wait, that was
Mexico
a
would be
game.
the right place for that, doesn't it? Like Mexico
wait,
would be
no.
the right place to bring kind of like, Fast and Furious sort of into stuff. But you'd
Forza
expect with
Horizon
Australia
2
it would be Mad Max, wouldn't you? But,
presents Fast and Furious is a standalone game.
oh.
Yeah, it is. It is. It was It was standalone DLC basically. But you can't.
Yeah.
You didn't have to own the main game to play it, and it was okay. It was probably about 2, maximum 3 hours worth of content. It was good. I mean, the game Forza's good, and it's like okay, I'm just driving Dominic Toretto's car, so that's pretty cool as well. So yeah.
Yeah, that is one of the things that struck me. I played Forza Horizon 1 quite a lot, and then I haven't really played any of the others since, going to the PS4 and all that, and then I've been playing Forza Horizon 5 because I could finally play them on PC, isn't it great?
Yeah.
And,
Game Pass.
yeah. Oh, exactly. The Game Pass for the win, as usual. And apart from the fact that it looks fucking incredible, is like the driving in the game just is brilliant. Like they do such a good job of making all the cars feel different.
Yeah,
still
and the
being
tuning
able to,
too.
Yeah, and to be able to control them on the different surface types and all that, it makes rally driving incredibly fun, and that's something that games about rally driving struggle to do quite often, and they have it absolutely nailed. So yeah, definitely recommend that if you haven't tried it, if you can.
I think the last rally game I played was that Colin
McRae's.
on
Colin Mockery's
PS1 or something like that.
Whose gear is this anyway?
That was genuinely fun, but as were all games back then.
What's the big
one?
I tried one of the Dirt.
Yes, Dirt.
Oh yeah,
games.
Dirt. That's the series. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Dirt 5
they
came out.
They had that on PS Plus one year. I can't remember which one it was. A couple of years ago, and I tried that, and it's just miserable. I just couldn't enjoy it at all, and you're like, this should be great fun, and it really just wasn't.
Right.
Which is unfortunate. Whereas,
unfortunate.
Yeah, I took to it straight away in Forza Horizon 5. I'm just going to breeze past that. Just splash through the river, away we go. Clean ourselves off.
Well, yeah, I think there was a massive, dearth of, racing games that were actually fun,
Yeah, I mean, Need for Speed lost its way.
Need for Speed lost its way. Gran Turismo comes out once every Haley's Comet.
1,000 years, yeah.
I was never a GT, same with, like regular Forza. Like, I don't like driving simulator games. I like arcadey games.
Mm-hmm.
And Horizon is really, what I like about it is, like, you can make it more simulatory, but also, no. You just don't have to.
Yeah.
I'm fine with playing, I'm like, I don't remember the 2 difficulty levels I bounce between, but it's basically like, you've got first, up your level, sure. And then I play the freaking green cross-country races, and then, like, you've lost all your races recently, so you want to drop it down, and then I drop it down, but then I make the mistake of switching to a different race type, and it's like, oh, you've won all your races again. It's like, oh, right, I need to... But I refuse, I'll let the game decide, because I don't need first and everything, and so it's fine, but, like, I've got a very tuned DeLorean, which is great at street racing and circuit racing.
Yeah.
And it's very bad at dirt, but I've got the Ford Hoonigan Ford Escort or whatever it is. The Hoonigan Spec Rally thing, and it's like, I haven't even tried to tune it. It works really well in the orange races for whatever difficulty I have to be on. I'm usually close to the top 4 or 5. That's fine for me.
They give you plenty of options for tuning everything to that level, because again, that's one of the things that was always good about Forza Motorsport. Like, for all it was very simulation heavy, because that was the point. You did have a lot of options to tune it so that the difficulty suited you to a good degree. And that carries over into Horizon pretty well, because it's what you want is for it to be a challenge but still to win. It's sort of the idea. You want to be screaming past them at the last corner to take the win,
or just like fighting for that spot. Like, they're like hitting back on the stick to look behind you and be like, oh, he's been on my ass the whole time. Versus the races where you're like, I can't even
stop
see
and read a book. Or you're lapping them in a 3-lap race, and you're like, this isn't doing it for me anymore. And then you can just have fun with the cars, like with the tuning and stuff. And I had the Audi Quattro, like the original one that you can buy in the game, and you do the engine conversion and stuff like that. I took it to like the max that it could go, and it was undrivable. It was so quick, it was just impossible to control.
Amazing.
So I was like screaming past my friend who was in the same race as me, like, well, I'm doing so well, and then I get to a corner and I'd be like, oh crap, and I would just keep going for miles because I just couldn't slow it down.
That's amazing. I mean, that was one of the things I like about, like, I didn't want to learn all the tuning, but you can download tunes, and so like tunes, and what I liked about it was like, oh, you can turn almost any car into like an S-class racer by just doing stupid stuff. But I was like, the DeLorean starts as like a D, and I'm like, I'll make it like an A. See how that goes. And then, like, it's great. Whoever did the tune was great. Tried a couple, one I found I liked, and for me, like, a lot of it is getting used because there is nuance to each of the things. It's more like, oh, I know how to drive this car. I like cars that, like, this one I picked a tuning that, like, had a better launch, because I find I am a bit too aggressive, so it's easier for me to keep people away from the first spot than take the appropriate line to gain the inches on them. Right? So, like, I'd rather a harder launch, and then I can, even if they're on my asses, I can kind of, like, swerve around and be a dick and like make sure they don't... Exactly, And that tune works really well for that.
Is there a button to put the doors out on the DeLorean, so you're even wider. Just
there is, but not while you're racing, which is unfortunate.
Well, you just have to hit 88 miles per hour. Time it so that you are a couple minutes in the past, such that you can catch up and pass them.
Yeah.
Drive from the finish line to the start line, and then when the timer goes, then you just zoom back to where you started.
Yeah.
Is that how time travel works?
No, absolutely not.
No.
I mean, no one knows. Really.
It doesn't work at all.
Yeah.
You can rewind time in this game. It's fine.
Oh yeah.
You have to fix the toaster first.
Well, let's move on swiftly. So we give ourselves enough time for the rest of the things.
Well, we've already talked about one of Adam's top 10. Now it's just a surprise on which one it is.
Exactly. Where does it come? We can just mention it and move on very swiftly during that.
Nah, we're going to continue talking about
it. Lucy, you mentioned something you've been playing.
The new hotness. Universal paperclips. No, it's not that. It's called Babble Royale, which is made by the same people who made Universal paperclips. Which
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because when I was reading about it.
You never. Yes. If you're not playing it, the paperclips game is amazing.
No.
It's a really interesting commentary on AI tasks, but also a semi-idle game-ish thing. Yeah. It's very small.
I've been playing it on my iPad because I was, flat out after my booster, and it's like I want to play Babble Royale, but then I read, it's people who made Universal Paperclips. It's like I'll just start playing that again. I think I've made like 2 billion cookies at this. Not cookies. That's the other one. Idle game, Cookie Clicker. I made about 2. I prefer this one because it's very, Cookie Clicker is, it's about cookies. It's nice. Whereas this is just very corporate. I'm making boring ass paperclips, and that's what I like.
And I'm trying to optimize it. Yeah.
Yes. I love Universal paperclips, and I don't know why, but it's just numbers go up. Gamer is happy. So
you've finished it, right? Like it also gets.
Yeah, I'm almost finished with this one. I've just got like one more thing to upgrade.
I just mean like you've played the whole game through before.
Yeah, I mean I've cured cancer and solved, achieved world peace at this point. So it's just literally one last thing that I need to get to. So yeah,
by burying everyone under paperclips.
I mean, kinda. That's why I was saying it's worth playing at least once just to understand how you can go from you literally only build paperclips to the universe. It's very odd and great.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. I thought you can't have a war if you can't get out from under all these paperclips because you're drowning in them.
I made my
I'm too efficient. I'm making too many.
Into AI drones and soldiers. That's what I did with my paperclips. But it's fun, and it just really puts in perspective how much a billion of anything is, and but anyway, Babble Royale is their. I don't know if it's their next game. They might have done stuff in between that, but it's Battle Royale with Scrabble. If you couldn't tell from the name, it is my addiction and obsession right now. I think I've played about 9 hours since maybe Sunday or something like that.
I mean, according to Steam, you've played 12 hours total.
Well, there you go. I can't even go. The time just melts away. I was doing it just before we recorded.
Yeah, we noticed because you were late to the podcast.
Yeah, because I was getting my chicken dinner. Chicken dinner doesn't take 2 seconds. Got to leave it in the oven. But it is. I mean, it's ridiculous in its concept, but it works so well. And there's Battle Royale in Forza and stuff like that, and it's like, okay, everyone's going to make a Battle Royale game eventually, but this is just so genius. You basically parachute. You literally, at the start of the match, you have these tiles. You have one tile, and
It's
the letter
Scrabble,
A.
right? Just in case people didn't realize. Yeah.
It's Scrabble. It's on like a Scrabble board. It's bigger. What Scrabble board? Like 64 tile squares or something like that. I don't know.
8x8.
That's chess.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's bigger than that because it's 16 players per match. And I'm getting into matches like super quickly. You press play and it's immediate. So there's people playing this, which is good. But yeah, you airdrop, parachute, just like any battle royale, onto the board. You can, maneuver where you're gonna drop. Just like Scrabble, there's these like tiles that have like triple or quadruple or double your score. And basically you're building up this. It's like Counter-Strike. You're building up money. And with that money, you can buy. You've got your set of tiles. You've got your rack, and it's basically okay. The letters drop in after a certain amount of time. You can upgrade that timer so letters drop in quicker. You can. I don't think there's any tutorial for this game, but as soon as you drop in, play 1 or 2 matches, you pretty much get everything there is. Apart from, I didn't realize that I could upgrade that timer that makes the letters drop in quicker. I only realized that today. And it's like, I'm just thinking, how many more chicken dinners could I have got if I knew this? But because I've had like surplus money in my account, just waiting to spend it, but I haven't needed to. It's just like, oh, I could have upgraded that timer. But you can buy these buffs, which is basically I think there's 3 different ones. Health, because there's a hot zone in this game where it's a circle and it starts shrinking. It's more a square because it's a square board, and it starts shrinking. So the aim is to, put your letters on the board and like kind of like snake your way up into the center by connecting words on words and words. And this is the Scrabble dictionary, so literally anything.
All the 2-letter bullshit.
Yeah, like EE is a word, and just like, okay, I got EE'd, and someone killed me like that. But the way you kill other players is you connect your word to theirs, and so once you keep making words, everything that you've left behind, like your tail, that is inactive. If someone connects onto that, it won't kill you. It's only when it's your like last immediate active word. If someone connects onto that, you're out of the game.
Right. So if you say like, I don't know, like keepsake, and then they go E on the last E on keepsake, making an EE, that would kill you.
Yes, if
their EE was connected. Yeah, sorry. If that connected their branch in yours. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And so it's full of all these little strategies of like the equivalent of hiding in a bathtub, where it's like you've surrounded yourself by like Z's and J's and Q's, and it's like, I'm just gonna hunker down here and hope nobody comes and figures out some weird Scrabble word which is like XYZ and then just kills me. And then just, okay, when the hot zone goes, it's like, okay, there's this bomb ability which is really helpful, because if you've trapped yourself into a corner, or you've bumped up against somebody else's like inactive words and you can't maneuver around them, the bomb basically just obliterates all the tiles in the in a small vicinity, and then you can start making you've got clear space to make words. Other abilities are health. So if you're in the hot zone, your health starts going down, and you can, just jab yourself in the arm, jab your tile in the arm, and get a health pick up. And what's the other ability? The other ability is just, you've got a rack where it's like Q's and Z's, and it's like, I'm not going to make anything of this, and it just swaps out for a randomized set of letters what you put in your rack at that point. there's just so many little strategies. Like, okay, I love just killing people. Okay, just like unexpected. It's like I'm just gonna wait for this particular letter to drop, and then I've got you, or I'm gonna bomb everything around me, and then just quickly, like a cobra, just get at you.
Is it
like
super fast paced?
No, it's not. Some people are crazy, and I thought there was like a bot one time, but some people are crazy, and I got that person. I thought they were so clever, and I was just like, no, just snipe them. But it's not. I think I'd probably say each match probably lasts maybe around 15 minutes because the hot zone will keep getting smaller and smaller, and then everywhere will just be a hot zone eventually. Right. It's like it gets to a very small, like probably 2x1 kind of like area, which isn't the hot zone. And then at that point, it's just like you're gonna have to kill that person, or it's game over, or it's like how many health backs can I eat through before this person dies from the hot zone as well. And it's all these strategies, or like how can I close off this area, so that people can't get out of the hot zone, and so many different nuances and tactics. And it's free to play. I suggest just go download it. You pick it up within, I mean, if you ever played Scrabble or anything like that, but you pick up the nuances and the the ways to outthink your opponents and stuff like that pretty quickly. The learning curve is not steep. That's probably why there is no tutorial. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I'm getting so many chicken dinners.
I really enjoy. We'll do a quick review roundup just because I'm pretty sure these gamer kids never played Scrabble, because most of the downvotes are about the dictionary.
What?
Oh.
Yeah. So.
You never heard of XI?
Exactly. That's Kai. Game is fun, but it has it. So this is Celestial Nighthawk, who's played 9.5 hours, but has downvoted it. Game is fun, but it has its own made-up dictionary where only specific words from various languages and specific abbreviations are allowed. So at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of children two-letter spamming and trying to make a word that they never knew existed to eliminate someone. It's also filled with cheaters too, which isn't odd considering it's a battle royale. Would be more fun on a phone for sure.
How do you cheat?
I don't know how one cheats, so that's why we want to bring it up. But also,
the thing is that I've been forged in fire because this is how my sister plays Scrabble. She always knows that she's going to lose, but what she will do, she's a disruptor, and she'll just put these small little words everywhere. Like she's the one who always clears her rack at the end because she's always putting these small little words in these small little spaces, and it's your job to like navigate around that. So it's like.
I can feel the venom.
That is fortune.
Those small little words.
I know that you can put a T after AI. I've known that for years.
But you also do crosswords as well,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So you were familiar with shitty small words.
Yes. Crosswordese, as we call it in the business, where it's like no one ever uses this word in real life.
Yeah.
But it's in a crossword, so yeah. So that's why that's why I'm full with chicken dinners. I could feed every homeless person on Christmas with all these chicken dinners. Yeah, and I never even thought to go to the reviews. I was just like, it's free to play. Yeah. How can anyone be angry at a free to play game? I guess people are like Halo.
You playing it on your tablet?
No, just Steam.
Okay.
Well, yeah, but you have a Surface, though. Could you play it on?
Oh no, yeah, I could. Yeah, it is. It's probably like a 40 megabyte download, and it's just But I'm playing it on my main screen. It's nice to get a big board and big picture.
It's 178 megabytes. I'll have you know.
Oh wow!
I bet most of that is the 2 words.
The 2-letter words. Just the dictionary, yeah.
But yeah, I've got my there's cosmetics in it, but it's like the amount of time that you'd have to spend playing, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing anyway.
Well, because at some point you have to spend the money, right?
Well, if you want a stupid hat for your tile, I'm wearing my golden crown.
I was going to say, says the one wearing a hat in the podcast.
I paid £1 for this hat. That was like a charity.
If anyone wants to stick around after the podcast as well, we'll be selling off, one of a kind NFT of Lucy in a Christmas hat as well.
Oh, hold on, let me hit print screen. Just go to ethereum.net.
Yeah, it's the new hotness. Babble Royale, get on it.
Nice, nice, good.
As I said last week, it's making me want to download Textris, which may not have the same buzz. No, now that I've tasted Babble Royale and tasted killing other people. It's so satisfying. I don't think I've had any more fun killing another person in this game than any other. Even Chivalry, Adam. Yes, it's satisfying lopping somebody's head off after just being in a one-on-one duel, but
I mean, to be fair, you can in both games you can kill someone by throwing an axe.
But yeah, the great thing is, I think probably the best thing about this game is when you kill somebody,
you hear them scream.
That would be great. It shows the other person what word you killed them with, and it basically says you got axed by Lucy. It puts apostrophe D at the end of it, so you can absolutely just take the absolute piss if you want to, and you could
got twatted.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You got pwned. Or noobed. You got noobed.
Amazing.
So yeah, that is very good.
I wonder how often the word fucked, or just fucked comes up. So it's just you got fucked by this person, just constantly. Nice. And I love how your sort of, your new wanton, abandoned, and bloodthirsty nature from sort of Chivalry 2 is crossed over to a word game. It's brilliant.
Yes.
Do video games cause violence? No one showed that to the Daily Mail.
Of the lexicon kind.
Yeah. Good. Let's keep rolling. Aadil, have you had a chance to hang out and play anything this week?
Nah, I was gonna play the Artful Escape.
Oh yeah,
I didn't get around to it.
That's fair.
Yeah, I figured we had enough on today that I had some last minute stuff pre-Christmas to do this morning. So
I played the Gunk.
Oh yes,
I finished the Gunk. There's not much to say about it. I think if you go in thinking about it's from the people who made SteamWorld Dig, you might come away disappointed. I didn't really have any expectations for it. Even though I knew it was made by the people who did SteamWorld Dig, because I didn't really know much about it. I was like, got revealed, it's like coming to Game Pass, it's like, cool, don't need to know anything else about it, I'll play it when it comes out.
Yeah.
It doesn't really evolve from its initial pitch, which is this is basically set in the future, like big Amazon corporations have probably mined into the earth, and it's like they're having to look for resources elsewhere. It's a kind of rote and, generic kind of story, and it's like, okay, but it's there, and the voice acting's, all right. And it's a good background for what you're mainly doing in the game, which is vacuuming up some hoovering. That's easy. Hoovering up some gunk. It's like this amorphous kind of blob, slightly sentient. I mean, the story goes into it, but you're just basically vacuuming that up, and that is what you do for most of the game. You get these, you can upgrade your abilities, but most of them, it's just like, these are just very small incremental kind of things that it's just like, yeah, sure, it's better that I can suck up the gunk quicker, but it's not really helping like in a meaningful way where it makes like I don't know the gameplay easier or something like that. There's like slight combat, but as I say, it's like 2-3 different enemy types, and they're all pretty easy to deal with. It's just a very breezy experience, and not in a bad way. It's like I finished it in like 2-3 sittings, and it's about 4 to 6 hours long. And it's I think people would think it would be like more of a Metroidvania, a bit more exploration, a bit more to and fro. And it's very linear. It's just you're going through chapter by chapter, and it's like I'm sure you could go back to earlier chapters and get collect more resources on the planet to do the upgrades, but it's kind of no point to it.
Right.
Unless you're achievement hunting or something like that. But yeah, it's the most 6 out of 10 game. 6-7 out of 10 games. Like the central mechanic is satisfying. Like hoovering up the gunk is very satisfying, but it doesn't evolve from there on. But it's got really chilled, mellow music, and it's like after recovering from my booster, I was just like, I need something mindless but fun, and this will do.
Good.
Yeah.
Nice. And it's on Game Pass as well.
Game Pass game. Yeah. That middle of the road, quite short. Game Pass game. Yeah.
Nice.
It's great for that.
Nice. That's great.
I'm gonna book my booster in when I get back from a couple of days away.
Mine's tomorrow.
Oh, nice. So it definitely seems like if it's a good game for that, I'll absolutely be getting into it. Sort of, over the next kind of week or two.
Yeah. I mean,
the miracle of Game Pass, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's too young probably, but it seems like a very good, probably around 8, 9.
Okay.
Give them this game. It's like they'll be able to finish it. It's not punishing. It's like you fall off a cliff and it like just respawns you up there. I wondered if you could die in the game, and I did get a game over. So yeah, but it's not challenging whatsoever.
That's fair. Nice. I won't talk about Darkest Dungeon 2 this week. I'll save that for a couple of weeks' time when I've had a little bit more time with it. But as kind of one thing to mention, I'm really enjoying it. So it's again something I'm going to be playing over the next couple of weeks more and more. Currently in early access. I think it's only available through Epic.
Still in early access?
Yeah. And Darkest Dungeon was in early access, I think, for a year. Maybe.
Yeah.
So this has only just released into early access. So I would imagine maybe 6 months to a year, something like that. That it'll be there. Then it might start to appear on Steam and things like that. I don't know how long it's on EGS for, but yeah, I will report back on that in a few weeks' time.
Same with me for Halo. I will report back. I started it.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's better than the other Halos, and it actually feels good to shoot. So it's already better than the others.
So the burn on all the other Halos.
I mean, yeah.
That's fair. And I've also been getting my groove on. I've
Hello.
I've relented and I've given Ubisoft some money and brought Just Dance.
Interesting.
This is family-oriented fun.
Family-oriented fun. Yeah, I know. I brought it for Kim and E as a Christmas present.
Excuses.
I know. And the other day, they'd been stuck inside for a couple of days, so I just
gave it
to
them.
Wii? Did I get it on the Wii? I did not.
Yeah.
No.
Just 2021 on the Wii.
I think maybe the only game that comes out for the Wii now forever.
That's it, like last year, which was sad.
But that's it for me this week. So let's open some more beers. I have got another beer from Good Chemistry, which I'm going to open. This is the MMXX. It's a barley wine. It's 10%.
Ooh.
It's in a lovely purple can with gold writing and symbols, unlike their standard colour with a silver.
It's the 2020?
Yes.
in 2021.
So I don't know whether it's a re-brew. I like that their best before is 2025, the 31st of December 2025. But again, this was just part of their kind of like Christmas box that they put together. So there was one of these
they did that,
in there. So this one, the flavor text is 5 years to the day after our very first brew day. We brewed this big barley wine to celebrate a special beer which will age gracefully and develop over time.
Right.
It doesn't give me a brewed on date to know how long this has been sort of kicking around for. I can't remember whether it was at some point, like, what point last year this was brewed. So is it a year old? Is it 18 months old, sort of thing?
Right.
But it does say it's 22% hoppiness, 84% maltiness, 52% bitterness, and 65% sweetness. So a nice big barley wine to finish my night off with. Aadil, what are you opening now?
A less big beer. I have the 4 Pure Bermondsey, 4 Pure Oatmeal Stout.
Okay.
Rich and chocolatey, 5.1%. It's in a mini can. It says, follow us with the same again. Chocolate velvet coffee. And that's it. Then it just talks about 4 Pure. I mean, I'm never really disappointed by them. So 5.1% oatmeal stout sounds like a good way to round the night out. If not as boisterous as Ben's round the night out choice.
Oh, boisterous, eh? I've got something.
Lucy, which end of the spectrum are you going? Are you going for the big old boisterous boy? Or are you paring it back for your second beer?
In some ways, it's a big old boisterous boy. Not as boisterous as I like, but it's 8.6%. So
nice.
That's good enough for me. It is from Salt.
Oh,
and yeah, the Hexagon Project.
Yeah. Was it Salt and Hexagon Project, or Salt Hexagon?
This is the name. Yeah, this is the name of their series.
Right.
The Hexagon Project. And this one's called Signed, Sealed, Delivered. Sorry, I was about to break into song there. It's called Signed, Sealed, Delivered, and it is an Imperial Brown Ale. Bit of flavour text. Says, this Imperial Brown Ale melds flavours of complex malt with light hoppiness. The initial aroma is sweet malt and slight liquor, followed by subtle hop notes of pine, lemon, citrus, and tropical sweetness. On the palate up front, hits of hedgerow berries and stone fruit, which are mellowed by layers of complex malt. So a lot going on in this one.
Nice.
Oh, I'm super curious about this Hexagon Project because it's got their first one was a red wine barrel-aged Baltic porter, and then they had a Citra Dippa with mango and habanera.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
They had 2 different ones actually, 0.9 and Hexagon Project number 9 and number 9.1, which is the hot ones and the not so hot ones, where they've put less chilies.
Because I was considering that, but I was like, I'm not sure about the chilies because some beers just get it so wrong and some beers just get it so right. So I was just like, let me go for the Imperial Brown Ale. Which
that's sensible.
Absolutely.
Also, with the weather the way it is, that's like never gonna fail you. Like even if it was subpar, which I'm not saying it is, it's just gonna be
completely.
Habanero chilies, very very summery kind of thing.
I mean, all year round.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You could definitely have them all year round. And like, is a barley wine? You can have a barley wine all year round. Of course you can. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why not?
This one is
barley
so
wine. Not
the color is almost exactly the same as the first beer. The Weizenbock Uncertainty Principle, maybe just a touch lighter, a little more translucent as well. But that nose is incredibly sweet. It's almost kind of like cowpole sweet, It's got that slight sort of medicinal hit to it.
I wanted Calpol the other day after my booster. I was like, I'd probably have to drink a whole bottle of it to feel anything.
Cool.
And chase that with like vodka, but you know, Calpol's nice.
This flavour it's so incredibly dry. It's just like...
That's the thing with barley wines, they can be very, very dry. Very strong.
The flavour follows through very much with the nose. So getting that real hit of sweetness. And this kind of very solid kind of backbone to it. It says it's a big old malty beer. I can't quite pick out what that malty sort of nature to it is. Again, it's slightly bready, but everything else, all of that sweetness, kind of eclipses everything else, and it is very sort of floral. It's got that kind of, not artificial sweetness that you get in like Calpol and sort of medicines and stuff, but it's much more, as barley wines kind of can lean towards. It's much more of that like liqueur sort of sweetness, that it's made of all of these herbs and flowers, and that it very much has that to it, which is a really difficult flavour to describe and kind of pick out lots of different things. It's, the uncertainty principle had a lovely level of spice to it. Big banana, big bread in that. This is just like sweet and boozy. And then you taste it again, it's like, oh yeah, there's the booze. Oh yeah, there's the sweetness. And it kind of just goes, here's the sweetness, here's the booze. Here's the booze.
All right.
Here's the sweetness.
Yeah.
Oh no, have some sweetness again. And now have some more booze. And it just flows through that mostly.
Whilst also being very dry.
Whilst being incredibly dry. And it's got a nice medium body to it. It's not too thin. It's not as thick as what the flavour would sort of lead you towards, with sort of a little bit more kind of liqueur. It's not syrupy, but it's much more medium sort of bodied. So it's a little bit easier to drink than if it was a bit sort of thicker with this sort of level of sweetness to it. But it's got a lovely sort of finishing bitterness as well. Very, very light. It's not sort of piney, but it's just the way your mouth kind of dries out with it, that it just turns that touch bitter towards the end. And it's more of that, we talk about this sort of like ashy bitterness that you occasionally get. It's definitely kind of more on that sort of end than anything else. I've absolutely over poured because I was not paying attention. I was talking and I've poured, and it's ridiculous. I don't think I can even get it up. Anyhow, I have to go down here.
You never play it safe.
It's gone all over my notes. Ruined notes. Oh well. I'm gonna enjoy this, and Aadil, will come back to you for the oatmeal stout.
Yes, it poured kind of I would say a few fingers. I don't know if that was just my bad pour, doing the old awkward on-screen pour.
I did see the almost a whole hand behind the
it was very bad. But it dissipated quite well. But you can see the lacing. You can see that it's got a couple of milliliters just sticking around on the top all the way through. It smells. You do get on the nose. You get a lovely dark chocolate, bit of that oatmeal, so just a bit of sort of like wheaty sweetness, for lack of a better term. But yeah, I like that the chocolate is sort of a richer, darker chocolate nose. And then that's about it. Like I said, it's 5.1%, but you get a nice sweetness from the stout on the nose, which helps. I don't know if you can tell, but you can see the way I quaffed that it just sticks to the glass.
Yeah.
It's doing the same thing on my mouth, even though it's again not super thick. It's at a 5%, but it still manages. It's not like velvety in texture, but it is like it is clinging to my mouth and tongue, which is a decent trade-off for a 5% stout.
It's nice when they're that little bit more full-bodied when they're lighter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this, I think, yeah, I guess I said velvet in the 3 words of flavor text, which again were chocolate, velvet, coffee. I was hoping for a little more coffee. Again, I'm getting that darker chocolate note. There is a nice little bit of sweetness as well. And I guess the malts that are coming through are mostly coming through in the finish, or just before the finish, really, and they are a bit burnt, a little. Lightly roasted, not toasted, but lightly roasted. Just there's a bit of acridity, and maybe that's where they are claiming there's a coffee taste. But I'm just not feeling coffee. I'm feeling like a bit of roasted malts, some really strong chocolatey malts. The sweetness lingers, and so it finishes quite light. Like because the acrid roasted notes aren't very strong, they actually fade away. We get a touch of that sort of acrid burnt flavor lingering, but most of it is just this light sort of oaty, sort of, you get the creaminess from the oats lingering with some sweetness, which makes it extremely drinkable. Right, because it isn't lingering with anything. It's not too boisterous in the sort of the burnt, more like powerful, punch you in the face flavors. It's just, and actually, I'm taking bigger sips in general than I would normally with a stout, because although it's velvety, it's quite thin. So sort of start drinking, I'm like, yes, this is like kind of like water, and then it's only like partway through my quaff that I'm like, it's clinging. I don't actually need to take this much because it's touching all, like some of this is sort of being wasted because actually the taste is already touching all the surface area in my mouth. That's all I really need to get this hit. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's quite good.
Perfect.
Very flavorful.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then we finish out our beers with Lucy and the salt.
Yeah. Like last week with the Mammoth. This one also isn't a very attractive beer. Drinking it in an Appleton Estate glass, and it actually kind of like reminds me of like Sangsters, which is like a liqueur. It's like, very looks thick, very brownish. But hey, it's a brown ale, so
yeah.
But yeah, it looks like dirty dishwater, to be honest. It's got a nice lovely smell to it though, like nice roasted malt kind of aroma. Yeah, that's nice. It smells like it's a slightly sugary, slightly bready kind of smell to it. Oh, lovely smell.
I don't know what it is with modern brown ales and the way they look like, sewage water.
It does look like sewage.
It's kind of the most unappetizing, uninviting sort of look to a beer possible, and yet so many of them just smell beautiful.
It does. It smells like, Yule log on an open fire. That's what it smells like. It's crazy though, because where did the extra ABV go? It tastes like something you get on cask, like 4%, like ale. Yeah, it's nuts. It's so light. As I say, texture-wise, it's, even though it looks very thick in the glass, it's quite watery. It's quite thin, but holy Christ, where is the ABV on this?
Dangerous.
It is. Honestly, if you told me, okay, I could go up to 6% on this, I wouldn't think it's 8.6 at all. Which is odd as well, because there's not a lot of flavor in this. It's got that roasted malt flavor that you can definitely get on the nose. It's got that in it, but it hasn't got much more in it though. That's the thing.
Mm.
I mean, it's. I don't know if this was their intention. It's like, let's get everybody drunk by making it 8%, almost 9% beer, have it taste very light. But yeah, I was probably expecting a bit more thickness. You know, it is 8.6%. It's a brown ale. Probably want something a bit more, with a bit more viscosity to it. Maybe a bit more of those, you know, malts come in, like, not just at the end of the taste, just like maybe a bit more like chocolate and dark malt at the start of the taste. Maybe a bit more bitterness as well. But yeah, this is one of those beers where it's like, okay, not getting much on the flavour, not enjoying it too much, you know? Not there to luxuriate over its, you know, complex, you know, flavour profile. Maybe I should just neck it. Because it's one of those where you actually can, because it's so light and it's so easy. It's very smooth. There's not a lot of, as you'd expect, there's not a lot of carbonation. It's very soft, very still. So it's one of those where it's like, should I just neck it? But no, I'll see if there's any more flavour in it. But I'm not getting a lot. Maybe, you know, palate's destroyed from the blueberry muffin, but
see how it goes.
yeah, not getting a lot, which is disappointing. If the best thing I can say about this beer is that it doesn't taste like 8.6, it tastes very light, which is impressive.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted more from a you know, Imperial brown ale. So.
Well, we can see how that develops as you drink it, and we'll come back to all of our beers at the end of the episode. But we will now jump into our kind of main topic this week. One of the reasons Adam's come on to join us, and you sat very patiently, as you always do, whilst we're chatting about our beers.
Did I do well at not looking bored? Because I do have to try.
Just the occasional nod, just like, yes.
Sometimes
yeah, it's what I do when he talks about, you know, what's that? Space game he used to talk about a bunch.
Elite Dangerous.
Yeah, that one.
The space game.
The space game. But Adam, you are going to give us kind of your top 10 for the year. And it's not strictly games. There's lots of other stuff in this, but it leads us very nicely into next week's episode, which won't be live over on the Twitches. We've already done it. We've already recorded it. And it's going to be our top 10s or our favourite games of 2021. So Adam, please lead us in. Take us through your favourite things, favourite entertainment products.
Yeah, these are a few of my favourite things.
Yeah. Well, there's the two things about my top 10 as I was coming up with it. One is I don't think I played 10 new games this year, but not 10 that I can remember because it's been a long fucking year. So yeah, I put together just 10 of my, you know, things I've enjoyed this year. They're not really in any particular order on the list. I have 10 of them. And I've cheated immediately by lumping two things together. One of which is a game.
Wait, you made your own rules.
I did.
And then the first thing you did was like,
the name for Aadil. I can do whatever I want.
yeah, fair.
Yeah, well, it's one of those because I tried to stick to stuff that was new for this year, with a couple of things squeaking in that aren't, and it made sense to talk about them together. And the first one on the list is Arcane and League of Legends, because I started playing League of Legends this year thanks to my friends Dale and Ken. I know.
I don't know.
I mean, sorry. Lol.
There we go. I was waiting on that. Yeah, I really enjoy it. I can't deny it. It's basically a strategy game, but not quite, and it works. Anyone who's familiar with it will know kind of what it's about. Beyond the obvious of the toxic player base and Riot Games being a not a great company. probably looking a little bit better considering what happened at Activision Blizzard this year. Slightly less bad looking now than they were, but whatever. Corporations suck.
Agreed.
But they released Arcane, which is their anime on Netflix, earlier on this year, a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
And I've
heard really good things.
Incredible. It's one of those. Yeah, it's had two things going for it right from the off. It's had mega money on the budget, so look, and it's had plenty of time because they've obviously not rushed it. Riot Games aren't exactly broke.
Yeah.
And Netflix, people just throw money at Netflix even though they don't make money, so that's just kind of how that rolls.
Right.
Excuse me. But no, it's an incredible series. The animation quality all the way through it is just impeccable. The art design and direction is great. And they managed to accomplish something which I thought they would struggle with, which is make a coherent story out of the characters and the world and the lore that's not terrible. It's actually pretty good. And I think one of the key factors in how they accomplished that is they didn't try to cram all of them in. The playable characters, the champions in League of Legends, there's dozens of them.
Those will be in seasons 2, 3, 5.
Yeah, they'll add more as they go if they continue making. I think they've already said they'll do another season, but
Netflix is one of those. They'll shut it down if it isn't selling, and clearly there's a lot of buzz around this one, so that's exciting to look forward to.
Even if it is selling, to be honest, like Netflix, infuriatingly cuts series, even if they're critically lauded and people seem to like them, because they are chasing new subscribers. So the new hotness, like new subscribers are never gonna clamor for season 3 of great series. So, which is like the biggest problem with the Netflix model right now is that like nothing gets more than 2 series.
That's something that worries me greatly for something that we'll talk about in a minute.
Yes.
I guess that was like not too dissimilar to how it was, on network TV back in the day. It was like you make the first season and you tell a cohesive story that can
live by itself.
So it's not too dissimilar.
Again, a lot of that,
like,
I say a lot of that also comes down to those like pilot episodes. Like there must be so many shows which made that first episode to try and sell it to networks, and it just never got picked up.
Pilot, if you can find pilots of things, they're really interesting.
Well,
I actually, even like shows that have been established, especially American shows, where you're like, that guy disappeared for the entire series. That's weird. Or like, they really like everything is awkward. Some sets change. Like I really enjoy watching the first 2 episodes of an American show because just to see what's different. Because the budget, the directors, most of the things are. I mean, it's a little different now with prestige TV. Like you don't like your HBO Max series, etc. don't have pilots anymore in the standard way. So you don't get that. Because they're like, no, we'll give you 6 episodes and you'll do it, and then you don't have that like cognitive dissonance. But boy, it's one of my favorite things I miss about old TV models.
I want to watch like pilots for bad films, not bad films, bad TV shows that never got greenlit.
Oh yeah, I would love to. If you could find the cache of old pilots. There was a podcast by a bunch of comedians who would read the scripts of the bad pilots, but it's not quite the same.
Right, we're getting massively off topic. We've only got half an hour to roll through Adam's top 10, so we'll get back to it.
So that was Arcane and LOL.
Yeah. Yeah, the next one on the list is Forza Horizon 5, which we did chat about.
Yes.
It's excellent.
Right, so let's continue chatting about it. So the Ben just so I can see Ben shaking with anger.
Are those sand dunes, eh?
Oh yeah, what's everyone's favorite radio station? Like, I waffle between the hospital and the classical music.
Classic.
Anyway, what's your number? 8? 8. I know how to count.
8. Yes.
8 is Spider-Man Miles Morales. which I forgot was this year.
Was it really?
Until like earlier on, yeah, it came out this year.
I thought it came out.
No, it was last year.
December.
It was last year. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I mean, you might have played it this year. That's also fine.
It was definitely last December.
Because I thought
Ben played it, didn't he?
Ben had it on his top, I think.
Yes, and
or
it was. I don't.
Oh my god!
I don't know. I don't think it was a I don't think it was a release.
It had no rules anyway.
I don't think it was a release title, but it came out a couple of weeks or a few weeks after the release of the PS5.
It came out. It was a PS5 launch title. November
was a
12th,
launch title.
2020.
Fuck.
Yeah.
And it's on PS4.
It is on PS4 as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I played it on PS4.
Yeah, because I was about to say, wow.
Oh, well.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Like
I guess
we
it's my
started
top
this
nine,
with
then.
Adam saying he was breaking his own rules. So
I could have sworn that was this year. Oh god. Oh. That's one of those. I completely forgot that, I played it, and I thought, oh, that must have been this year, and then it's totally not. What is time?
Yeah,
it's all the same year, really.
All right, well that's excellent. So you can.
I mean, it's great. It's a great game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to get to it eventually.
Oh, it's definitely worth it. It's much more contained and the open world is the Ubisoft style that is a bit tired, but unlike Ubisoft, they don't litter it with 1,000 things to do. There's a half a dozen decent things that fit within the world, sort of stuff to do that's enjoyable.
And it's actually fun to play, unlike Ubisoft games. So
yeah, that also helps. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's worth recommending again this year, even though it was.
Yeah,
last
I mean,
year.
we're all for like our top things are never things that only happened this year.
Yeah.
I need a better brief next time. And
brief is simple, Adam.
Adam, you made your own brief. You then said, I am going to break it, and then are surprised that you broke it in a different way.
Yeah, because the other one was planned.
What's the next thing?
Was definitely the Witcher Season 2 on Netflix.
Oh, I still haven't finished Season 1.
Well, Season 2 is a lot better than Season 1 was.
Absolutely.
Oh, good.
Season 1 has some well-documented, I suppose, issues with, or that a lot of people had plenty of issues with how it presents the story, because it jumps between timelines and stuff a little bit.
Right.
Which can be a bit confusing if you don't already know what's happening. It's much easier for like me. I've read the books and everything, so I knew the story threads that it's picking up on, that it's adapting, even though it's doing them, differently in a different order and stuff, and presenting them in a different way. Whereas Season 2 doesn't have any of that. It's still got kind of two main kind of story threads that it's showing you, but they run sort of in parallel to one another this time. So
right.
it's not as confusing on that front, and it's just very, very good. Again, they've thrown plenty of money at it.
Yeah.
They have announced a Season 3.
Oh.
But I'm very worried that they'll do a Netflix and either cancel it before that or cancel it after.
They usually don't announce a season; they just cancel it. So that's some.
I don't know whether they've announced a season, but I've seen that
they confirmed that Season 3 was happening.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah,
because I read that the script had been. I read that the script had been finished, and then at the end of Season 2, they throw up a trailer for an unrelated story within the Witcher sort of world as well. So they're making another show, live action show in the Witcher world, and they made the Vesemir anime film as well this year.
As well.
So they
added that to my list. God damn it!
I think it's one of those things where Netflix must have paid a set amount of money to make things within the world of The Witcher, which has got a wealth of kind of books, and then the games which come after the books, and there's lots of stuff there for them to kind of riff off. Unlike Cowboy Bebop, which is kind of pretty set, and they kind of went, well,
did not do well.
Did not do well. Yeah.
It didn't do well, so they're not doing more. They did announce September 25th that they can officially announce season 3 along with the second anime feature and new kids and family series set in the world of The Witcher.
Before the season even came out, then.
Yeah, so they announced 3 things in the Witcher universe in September.
Yeah, they did show the trailer at the end of the season is for a prequel series, which goes back to stuff that's not covered in any of the books, which is to the time of the conjunction of the spheres, which is sort of...
You said words.
It's got Michelle Yeoh in it. Looks cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's basically the big climactic, apocalyptic event that means that there's monsters and elves and humans and that all in the one place.
Did I hear Aadil right? They're making a kids
and kids thing, according to the announcement. Yeah.
No idea what that
All I'm picturing is like that reveal trailer or whatever for The Witcher 3 where the crow literally flies through that guy's head or whatever it is. That's all I'm picturing, like, for the kids.
I mean, it does make sense that they spent a lot of money to get access to just, like, milk it, right?
They want to indoctrinate people from an early age. It's fine.
Well, you want people like Ben to be able to watch Witcher shit with his kid.
Sure, because I'm like the thing is season 2 was a big improvement on season 1, absolutely, and I know that
they tossed 3 coins, not just one,
and there is some big diversions from kind of the books with season 2 in terms of how characters meet and various things that kind of go on and stuff like this, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Tell a slightly different story, absolutely, but having played then The Witcher 3 and it being one of my favourite games, I'm now very much bought into
The Witcher,
right? The Witcherverse. So yes, absolutely. If there's a program that I can watch with E, I will absolutely fucking do that.
Have you watched the Ewoks with Evelyn?
No.
Watch the Ewoks cartoon with her and she will grow up a better person.
I think that's probably... Because... The Ewoks is a series, wasn't it? Rather than a film.
Cartoon series.
There were 2 made-for-TV movies about the Ewok planet, which is, of course, not a planet. It is a moon of Endor. Don't at me. But like, there were a couple different movies. I know this because because my mom got them at a garage sale, the read-along storybook versions of them that came with the 8-inch vinyl, with the small vinyl, and like I remember listening. God, I'm so old. Like even though my mom got it, they weren't new when my mom got them. But the point is, my house had a record player such that we could listen to someone read the basic moves of this shitty Ewok story with like stills from like. Text and then stills from the movie. This little girl made friends with Ewoks, and then there was the weird dude, and he ended up being...
we've moved on so much that we bought a book for E, which had a CD with it. She's like, "What the fuck is this?"
Really?
And then you microwaved it, and like, look, it's a light show.
We're getting off topic again. Adam, we didn't kind of get your... give us a very swift kind of conclusion about The Witcher Season 2.
It's excellent. That's
good. Perfect.
I really enjoyed it. And as you said, it's taking some big departures from what happens in the books and whatever else. And I think what they're doing in that regard with how they're adapting it is the right moves for what they're doing. Mm-hmm. There's stuff that that happens in the books. They don't need to really give you anything kind of visual to think of because it's just words written down. You sort of paint your own picture, but when obviously they're doing this stuff for the TV, they have to come up with, well, here's a thing to look at to sort of represent the weird crap we're talking about to help keep you kind of help the viewer follow along what they're doing, because when they're talking about X thing, they're referring to this, and you can see it, sort of happening. And I think they're doing the right thing on that front. So I'm very looking forward to the next season, and I'm pleased to hear that there's going to be another animated feature as well, because the first one is excellent. Don't watch it with E.
No.
Definitely do not do that, but definitely watch it because it's very good if you haven't. So that's The Witcher. That's
good.
Always nice.
What's next?
Next on the list is Hawkeye, the Disney Plus series.
I never watched it.
It's currently ongoing.
I haven't.
One more episode left, I think.
I think the next episode is the last one, which is we record this tomorrow. So there's a very good chance that they blow it entirely and this falls off the list completely by the time it actually goes out in the podcast feeds. But at the moment, as we record, it's on the list because I've really, really enjoyed it. I think it's probably my favourite one that they've done.
Is that still Jeremy Renner?
Yeah.
And Haley Steinfeld?
Yeah. Yep, Jeremy Renner is Hawkeye, and Haley Steinfeld is Kate Bishop.
Standalone film. He's too much of a loser character to get a standalone film. That's why they shoved him in a series, right?
I mean, at this point, it doesn't really make any difference because they're all...
people still watch it. Yeah.
Well, it's more that they're actually properly interlinked now because it's not like two halves of Marvel production fighting with one another.
Yeah.
Kevin Feige controls all of it, whereas the Marvel TV stuff, when it was on Netflix and all the rest of it, was run by a separate guy who everyone fucking hates because he's a dick.
I enjoyed those.
Some of the Netflix series were good, but he was a prick. And now Marvel have realised that, and he's not part of the team anymore, and they've realised that Kevin Feige, with his many films making $1 billion every time, pretty much, is in charge of everything. So it's all properly interlinked now. So the fact that it's a Disney Plus series doesn't really
no violence or sex in it anymore.
Yeah, and I think it's very much.
I actually enjoyed that, like Jessica Jones and Daredevil.
And how like almost R-rated they kind of were. Yeah, and these are very much kind of more family friendly.
They're Disney
shows
because
they're Disney.
Yeah, right.
But it's very much an introduction. Like
12 days.
Lots of lots of stuff's been almost this like passing the torch in terms of Marvel from the Avengers that have been in the cinema for the last sort of 10 years.
Yeah,
so
the
the
old
next
Avengers.
sort of the next generation of people, and this is very much that. This is that kind of story.
The show is Hawkeye is a young lady now. Here's how Hawkeye became a young lady. Don't at me. Now you get to see Jeremy Renner pass the torch.
I thought Hawkeye was a dude.
He is.
Yes.
What's this young lady, Hawkeye?
Yeah, she's the new one.
Oh, there's a
That's the name of the series. That series is Jeremy Renner's old, and he's getting replaced.
Yeah, because he is getting on a bit, isn't he?
Old and tired.
That is the kind of premise of the series.
Oh, I'm not joking. I'm saying I know. I haven't seen it, but I knew that was the premise of the series.
Yeah. He's been around for I think he came into acting late, didn't he? And I thought he...
I have no idea.
Or he's always been like 45 years old for the last 30 years.
It's like the opposite of Paul Rudd, isn't it? Everyone thinks Paul Rudd's about 25 and has appeared the same age for the last 400 years because he's some kind of wizard. Whereas Jeremy Renner's the opposite and has always been about 66 and will continue to be old and tired.
Which plays into the series quite well, because one of the things I've liked about what Marvel have been doing, and particularly in the stuff they've released this year, is everything's kind of about consequence. In a way that, a lot of the previous films didn't really have a chance to get into, is you see the consequences of the stuff that's happened in the past, and how that filters in. So, like Hawkeye being... old and doing all this for so long, he gets into a fight and then the next couple of scenes is him in a house strapping, like frozen peas to his joints because he has to stop them swelling up and stuff, because doing this stuff is actually difficult and hurts like hell. And then it feeds in with the storylines properly as well, with the threads that they're pulling together for all this, that I'm interested to see how they go about finishing it off and what happens.
Yeah, definitely.
In this last episode, if it is the last episode, this next episode, which I think is the last one. So hopefully it comes together well. But up till this point, it's been probably my favorite of their Disney Plus series that they've done.
Really, you liked it more than Loki? Because
yeah,
Ben and I really liked Loki.
I really like Loki as well, but I think I prefer this one. But that might just be because it's on now.
Yeah, recency bias, but also that's good to know.
I'm trying to account for that a little bit because I did debate whether or not to put it on, but I did decide that I would go with it because I think it has been my favourite so far. It draws the line well between being a bit light-hearted and goofy and taking the stuff seriously when it needs to. It walks that line quite well, which is something that I know, the Marvel films always, some of them tip too far one way or the other and end out not coming together fully because of it.
Yes.
This one I think nails the balance.
The next series is going to be the Iron Man spin-off when it becomes an NFT, bro. Looking forward to that one.
I think in the Marvel universe, fucking Tony Stark invented NFTs.
Yeah, definitely.
He's definitely in league with these.
You see this in my chest?
Just fucking...
This is the blockchain.
Oh god.
That's how he lives now. He lives in the blockchain.
Do you know what arc reactors are good for? Crunching coins, motherfuckers!
Oh god. That is what they would use them for. No one else would be able to buy an arc reactor because of that. That is true. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and he has actually been to the moon as well, so that's,
There you go.
They hired Iron Man 2 is actually like he recreates the Russian dude Whiplash recreates the arc reactor. What you don't know is after that movie, the Chinese get a hold of him, and they just have been churning coins ever since.
Yeah, because that happens in Iron Man 2, didn't he get blasted off to the moon or something like that?
Something, yeah. I can't
and that's when I stopped watching Marvel.
I can't remember how Whiplash dies.
Was Captain America after that? Because literally that was the last film I saw.
No, America was before Iron Man 2.
Okay, then I stopped watching Iron Man 2 because I was like, what is this?
It was nonsense. 1,000,000 years ago at this point. I have no
idea. And I'm free, unlike all of you.
So, where are we on your top?
We'll move on from Hawkeye.
Yeah, 5 is Chivalry 2.
Nice.
No, we've heard.
Which we played.
I'll be on Ben's side, which is we've heard enough in previous episodes from both you and Lucy, and earlier we can probably just say it's a dumb slog fest. That's great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well worth playing if you get a chance. Number 4 is something a wee bit different. It's Room of Swords by Toonimated, which is on Webtoon, which is a app or website or whatever that has like web comics on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Room of Swords.
Yeah. So there's quite a lot of stuff on Webtoon that I've been getting into in the last kind of year or two. There's a lot of good series on there that they are just like comics that scroll through and can read. And Room of Swords is probably the best one that I've gotten into in the last while. There's loads of good ones, but this is definitely the best one. And it's the sort of premise is basically the main character Jairus wakes up in a place he's not familiar with. He's dressed up like an astronaut, and he has a wee robot companion thing, and he has no idea where he is, and he has to work it out. And as it goes through, he discovers that he's in a place where they have to get a sword. He has to find the sword in this level sort of area where he is by taking it from a boss, which isn't going to be easy. And there's a time limit, and if he doesn't succeed within that time limit, he dies and has to start again. And as he goes along, he meets people, and he doesn't know how many times he's been through this loop before and stuff like that, and how they get things together. And then it turns out that there's a way to reset but remember everything, whereas when you do it, you forget.
Gotcha.
So and then it builds together, and as it goes along, it started a good few years ago, and I only started and I caught up this year with it.
How did you find this? Was it just like general browsing on there, or?
I can't remember how I found Webtoon. It's probably one of those YouTube ads or something, or banners somewhere that caught my eye one of these days.
You'd like this, yeah.
Yeah, that I've clicked on by mistake one day and it's popped up. I really can't remember where I saw it. The first series I really got into was Zero Game, which is a game. It's again, it's one of those ones where, again, it's quite a common trope of, like, where people die or they feel like they want to die and they go into this game where they get a chance to sort of like reset their life if they win. And when you go into this kind of alternate dimension sort of place, you end up with powers and stuff, and it's a really interesting story. And that's one of the first ones I got into. And there's absolutely loads, and some of them are really good.
That's why I was wondering how you found it. But that's cool if it's just like stumbled upon it and it's like, this is on my top 10 this year. That's wicked.
I remember it's because a lot of the like artists and stuff I started following. With Facebook being a pain in the arse and not showing me stuff half the time, I did move to Instagram, which was better. It's getting worse. Because it would actually show you them. And I was following a lot of them, and what a lot of them do is they upload onto Webtoon in the like canvas area, which is where you can upload any of your own stuff that you want. And that meant that, I could go back through and see all of their old posts and kind of catch up. Because some of them have sort of kind of sitcom style, like, threads and stories and recurring characters that sort of reappear in comics and stuff, even though they're just for laughs sort of thing. And so I was catching up with them, and that's when it started going, I'm actually reading quite a few of these on here now. What else do they have? And that's where I found some of the ones that they put on themselves, because some of the art is incredible that these people make, and it's really impressive. And then like Room of Swords, the animated, I think, is a duo. It's two people, and occasionally they put music in them, and sometimes there's animated. There's some of them. Occasionally, there's kind of like animated sequences.
Yeah, I really like looking through this and seeing sort of, rather than it being kind of comic boxes, as you're kind of sort of scrolling through it. It kind of follows that sort of same style, but suddenly you'll come to one, and the character's kind of like turning his head around, like, where is this sort of stuff? And there's some sounds going along with it. So it's very cool.
And they do some interesting things with like the pacing of them as well, by making the gaps between the panels bigger.
Yeah.
So you have to scroll that wee bit further, because sometimes is this not loaded properly? And then you're like, oh no, they deliberately put the extra in to make the pause longer to try and to try and control that. So again, some of the people that do this have obviously made a few series before and have gotten really good at it, or or whatever.
So it's like a Webtoon is like a indie clearinghouse for.
Yeah, I think it's like Korean. I'm pretty sure it's a Korean kind of based website, but pretty much everything on there you can find. Well, I've come across obviously in English.
Yeah.
I think I don't know how they do all the translations for stuff, because a lot of the creators and stuff are definitely kind of like Korean or Japanese and that kind of thing.
It's got to be fans, isn't it?
It's people all over the world that make this stuff. So there's Webtoon originals, which is like stuff that they sort of pay people to make.
Right.
And then there's Canvas, which is just anyone can kind of upload their own stuff, which is where
that's really smart, having like a curated sort of, hey, here's some quality that we're gonna make sure in our like platform, and we're gonna earmark it, but also because of that, we're gonna attract new, interesting, exciting authors.
Yeah, and there's a lot of the series, or some of the series make the jump across, so it'll start on Canvas and it'll find a following. And then eventually, like, Webtoon will pick it up, and they sort of get to remake it and bring it across into the original and re-release it, sort of thing. It's a really good service. I really enjoy. Reading that stuff.
Good art thrive in these spaces.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wicked.
Nice, good. So Room of Swords.
Definitely
on Webtoon.
Yeah. WEBTOON. If you just search for it, you'll find it. I'm sure.
Nice, cool.
It's one of those that I don't hear a lot of people over here talking about it, but it's definitely very popular, because when you look at some of the series and you see the numbers of likes and stuff that are on them, it is popular. So It must turn up somewhere.
Yeah, I just put Rumour Swords in Google.
Yeah.
And it came up.
Yeah, same.
Webtoon.
Yeah. That's an excellent one to start with because it is very, very good.
Good.
Maybe setting the bar high. Actually,
that's it. I mean, it's always good to do that.
Yeah, it's one of those because again, it covers a lot of genres. So yeah, as you probably expect, I focus more on some of the kind of fantasy action-ish stuff or sci-fi ones. But there's plenty of romance ones on there as well that I know a lot of people like getting into that kind of stuff. And then like the camera stuff, there's the slice of life sort of, just the weird wee comics that people make that you see a lot on like Instagram or Twitter or whatever that you maybe share and find funny, like the tortoise and dino ones that you see quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of stuff, and that's a good place to go to be able to see them all kind of in sequence as they were made and uploaded.
That's my jam.
Yeah,
very cool.
So we're into the top 3 now, Adam.
Yes, we are. And we're back to the rule breaking.
The next 17 things are my number 3.
No, it's all right. It's only 2 things because they're both from Bandai Namco Studios. Their own teams. Because they both came out this year, definitely, I'm sure. Almost 100% sure.
Yep.
Yes.
Which is Scarlet Nexus and Tales of Arise.
Oh yeah, classic.
Scarlet Nexus come out this year? Who knows?
Yeah, they both. They both definitely came out this year. Because
sure.
I'm surprised that they were within like 6 months of one another. Obviously, it's 2 separate teams from Bandai Namco Studios, and I lumped them together just because I have been trying actually to write something about the fact that Bandai Namco Studios seem to have or Bandai Namco in general seem to have a kind of style. There's a lot of kind of crossover with how the controls work and some of the combat systems and how the levels are designed and things like that. There's plenty of differences as well between the games. Tales of Arise is a fantasy JRPG with magic and swords and stuff, and Scarlet Nexus is what they call brain punk, which is their weird kind of cyberpunk sci-fi dystopia stuff with crazy powers and guns and whatever else in it.
I don't think I've ever heard of brain punk.
It's a coin. It's a term.
Yeah, it's news to me.
Yeah, it's kind of like the marketing term they coined for the style they're going for, because it's not quite cyberpunk, but it's sort of in that
like
similar
really
kind of
close.
Yeah,
it's dystopian maybe.
Yeah, it's sci-fi dystopian where they're fighting against these monsters called Others, and the people in the teams, they connect their brains to one another through a system so that they can borrow one another's like powers and stuff, and the powers are like pyrokinesis and stuff where they set things on fire and that sort of thing. That in Brain Punk's the kind of term they came up with for how they're presenting it. It's very good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed both a lot. About 60 hours in both games.
Nice.
Oh wow.
They're both excellent RPGs. I enjoyed them a lot. And yeah, that's kind of why I lumped them together, because I wanted to put both of them on.
Yeah.
Very much is the answer, but not take up 2 spaces.
I will say that Scarlet Nexus is on Games Pass, if that influences any of our listeners to try one and then maybe the other if they enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, excellent. I didn't actually know it was on Game Pass, so that's good. I played them both on Steam,
right?
Sort of as they came out, but they're on PS4 and Xbox and everything.
All the things,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, and Game Pass apparently. Yeah, they're well worth checking out if you enjoy your action RPGs.
Nice.
Particularly that style. Eventually, I'll knock my head together and get an article out about them at some point. I have been trying. I've had a couple of goes at it. I've not quite found the right angle to draw a through line through properly without just kind of randomly mishmash taking stuff.
Yeah.
And it not really coming out coherently.
Is it the Tales game? That's a series.
Yeah.
Have you played many more of those series, or is this your first foray?
This is my first. And this is my first because it's the first that has real-time battles. It's not
Okay.
turn-based.
Yeah.
Is this the same as like Tales of Vesperia?
Yeah, it's the same series.
It's the same series.
But like they're not. They're kind of like Final Fantasy in the sense of you don't need to stitch together the subsequent entries.
Yeah, that's exactly the comparison I was going to draw. But they make it slightly easier for you by not numbering them.
Yeah,
if they numbered them, it would be much more confusing, which is one of the reasons that Final Fantasy annoys me.
That a bunch of half the games aren't even in the numbering nomenclature.
Yeah,
let's not get into that.
No, that is the comparison point. You know, every time or certainly most of the games are all in separate worlds, brand new characters, brand new setting, whole new systems and stuff. And this is the first one that's, as I say, that isn't turn-based combat. It's one of those that it still functions similarly to turn-based because of how the cooldowns and the encounters work. It's not random encounters, but obviously you run up to the enemies and you're put in the battle arena, and then you fight them, and then and then it carries on like that. So it still has that kind of design philosophy to it, but the fact that I'm in control of the character, I'm running about, I'm using my normal attacks, and I'm triggering abilities and triggering the ones with the party and all that, and using them and chaining stuff together and all that. That just fits way more with what I enjoy doing in these kind of games.
Right.
If it had been turn-based, I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much, even though that's basically like a toggle at this point that they're switching, and I suppose we could. That's probably a whole show and trying to unpack the psychology behind why that makes any difference whatsoever, but it does.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why it's similar to Scarlet Nexus, because it's quite similar in same combat and that it's real time. The difference being you're not transported to an encounter arena, but it sort of like blocks off the area that you're in when you go into battle with enemies, and there's sort of differences but similarities, and I find it quite interesting comparing the two because they are from ostensibly the same studio, making very similar games but are quite different in those kind of interesting ways.
Interesting. I didn't know it was from the same guys.
Yeah. So I look forward to them releasing their next games in like 6 years probably. Yeah. They just released two.
Check it out for 12 years.
The next thing on your list, I have no idea what it is. This is something I've never heard of before.
It's an anime.
Okay.
It's by Studio Trigger. It's quadruple S Dynazenon. I don't know the right way of saying that part of it. It's Dynazenon. It's part of. There was an anime a few years ago called Gridman, with the 4 S's at the start in the same way. Also by Trigger that I really enjoyed, and this is a sort of sequel in universe, but not quite because of how it works. It is weird. Basically, it's Mecha Kaiju.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good ass name, Gridman. I was thinking, is there a game with a better name than The Gunk? Is there an anime with a better name than The Gridman? Like, no.
I mean, Trigger is a very good studio.
Yeah, it's really excellent. Like the Studio Trigger's animation is, top notch. They're really good at it, and
they even did something called Star Wars: Visions.
Yeah, they were part of that. I believe I waxed lyrical about that last one of the times I was on recently. So the very good animation, but the story of it is, it's in that same kind of vein as like is it Ultraman? Is that the kind of 80s style?
Yeah, Ultraman.
Yeah, and they sort of led into like Power Rangers, where the big mech fights the giant kaiju, and how their story interlinks and all that. But these have slightly more mature storylines through them that are a bit more obviously. Like Power Rangers and that was barely cobbled together with a story, by the nature of them repurposing the action scenes from the Japanese shows and adding Western.
Is that why I always hated that show?
I mean,
my younger
you probably
cousin
hated it for
loved
preschool
it.
reasons. Yeah.
My younger cousin loved it. I couldn't flipping stand it. I was like, this is dumb.
I loved Power Rangers back in the day.
Oh.
They had a bigger pyrotechnics budget than the British Army. they without any difficulty, because they exploded everything. It was great. Everything exploded. They punch together, they explode. It's great. But one of the things for me that really stands out with Dinoxenon, the way the way they tell the story and the animation, and is the way the characters interact, because it's kind of a group of strangers kind of thrown into this whole situation and trying to work out how to work as a team to work this stupid mech to fight these kaiju that they've never seen before in their lives, sort of thing. And what I like about it is it really captures some of the awkwardness that you get. Because like Marvel in particular are good at this. All of the conversations really flow. They're very snappy.
Yeah.
Someone says something, and then the next person responds to that thing, and it goes back and forth, and it's quite snappy, and everyone's quite quick-witted that way. And what I really like about Dinoxenon is some of the silences between lines really hangs.
Gotcha.
So someone will say something, and you're waiting on the next person responding, and it just hangs there for that little bit, and you go, I've had those conversations that are just that painful. I've been one of those people, and you're sitting there watching it, and because I like the characters and I want them to, because they're having those kind of like talking past one another sort of things about their emotions or whatever the thing was that they're having a kind of disagreement about, and you're just screaming at them going, just say the thing, just apologize, just do it, stop just looking at them and just fucking say it, and it just captures that so beautifully. I love it.
It sounds excruciating.
It is. It was so painful at times, but I loved it. I absolutely loved it because it's deliberate. It's not like super awkward and cringy because it's bad. It's all really well thought out. The characters are really well developed, and the conflicts and sort of miscommunications between them are very real.
Okay.
And that's why I liked it because it's terrible in so many ways because it is painful, but I absolutely loved it. It was great.
Sounds interesting. It's like, that's why I hate Power Rangers. It's just like, yeah, let's go. No. 5 minutes later, they're in the mech, and it's just like, oh my god.
Yeah, no.
I appreciate it more now, but having to watch it back then.
Yeah.
Who was fucking strapping you to a chair and forcing you to watch Power Rangers?
Literally, when I was with my cousin, there was nothing else to watch.
Family.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I understand that pain. I have a deep-seated, almost irrational hatred of anyone that I saw on the Disney Channel when my sister was away.
Oh yeah.
So there's that 7 or 8 year kind of period in the sort of mid to late 2000s where Zendaya, who's in the Spider-Man films, the recent ones.
Oh, is she from Disney stuff?
Yeah. So there's people like her and quite a few of the other ones that some of them have gone into acting, some have done music and blah, blah, and I fucking hate
Christina
all of them.
Aguilera.
And it's one of
old school. That's the OG Disney.
Justin Timberlake. These are the Disney
Christina,
people.
Brittany, and Justin were like the OG Disney Club.
Disney Club.
Oh, I have no idea about them.
But he's talking about
it's that specific era when my sister was watching it when she was into all those shows, and any of the people that I saw in those on a regular basis, I have that just deep-seated, irrational, visceral fucking hatred for. That's nothing to do with them. They were just doing their thing, making their money and living their lives, and I fucking hate them for no reason because I was forced to see their stupid things and listen to their damn songs.
Let's move on from hate and let's get back to love, pure love.
The Disney Club.
What are we, top 2, top 1?
The number one.
This is the only one. This is the only one that is definitely in order. It is definitely my number 1. And I suppose technically it's not actually out because it's in early access, but it launched in early access this year, so I'll take that. It's Power Wash Simulator. because
I saw this and I was like, is his list backwards, upside down? Which way is his list going?
No.
Number 10/11.
Yeah, no, this is absolutely top of my list for the year because it's brilliant. It's so chill. It's so perfect in every way because I tried to play Lawnmower Simulator.
That's so boring. I tried to play that as well on Game Pass.
I didn't make it past the initial tryout. Some lawnmowers, and you get 3 to try. And I did try all 3. It took me about 20 minutes, half an hour, and I was miserable by the end of it because it has the simulator part of that nailed, but it's not fun. Whereas Power Wash Simulator has the fun that lacks completely, and that's where you can't just take any old simulator and have it be a success. I'm sure there's plenty of people who do like Lawnmower Simulator. I'm not one of them.
I think a lot of people will like complain about it because it's like you can't clip the flowers with like a baby scissors, and those are the sort of people playing these games usually.
Yeah, right.
Hardcore.
It's not simulator enough for them.
But it's just boring anyway. It's like maybe mowing lawns is just boring.
I don't know who the developers are for Lawnmower Simulator, but I think Power Wash Simulator really succeeds in part because the developers are British and they have that kind of
we know how to be boring.
Yeah, it's serious, but it has that fun element to it.
Right.
It knows 100% that it's ridiculous.
We know how to put sugar in a cup of tea. Basically.
They've made a game about power washing stuff. It's utterly ridiculous as a concept. It's so silly, but you can do it seriously and still have fun by 100% just taking on board the fact that it's ridiculous. Yeah. So you're power washing away about stuff, and you get the wee text messages from people, like you're doing the jobs for and stuff like that as you're going through, and they're just talking utter bollocks about all sorts of weird shit. Like there's one of them where like there's this sort of like through line story thread through some of the career mode kind of missions as you're going through them, and a cat goes missing, and then one of the firemen in the town just goes looking for the cat up the volcano for some reason, because there's a volcano nearby the town for some reason. And so you just get these messages, I think I spotted him near the lava, I'll just go a bit closer. And then like the next job you get is, I'm so glad that you have to clean the helicopter now because we had to go take it to rescue him because he thought that some molten rocks was a cat for some reason. It has those sort of weird and ridiculous kind of plot points to them. While you're just in this weirdly dirty town, power washing vans, and the mayor's house gets egged for whatever reason because he's the mayor probably, or the skate park, or a tree house or whatever, and it's perfect. It's such a beautifully chill out game.
Yeah, because I thought it was made by same kind of people who do like House Flipper or Euro Truck. Like that, but it's not. And
it's a wee indie developer. It's a Future Lab,
and they did Velocity X, which is the one on the Vita. Really, really fun game. So, I didn't know it was like more, because those other games are like more self-serious and
it's one of those, because again they take it's the right balance of, they take the power washing part of it seriously. They had to build tools so that they could spray on the different layers of dirt, the different types, because you have like surface level dirt, and you have like the really ingrained like rust and metal and bird poo. They take sort of those details seriously of getting the gameplay of it right, so that it feels satisfying to clean stuff. But they have that sort of really comical, very cartoonish kind of overworld and characters that come through in it, and the designs that it works perfectly. And they've added multiplayer to it. That was in the last update. So now you can power wash with your friends. It's gonna be great.
Brilliant.
Okay.
It's only like £15-20 or something like that. It's beautiful. It's perfect. Absolutely recommend. It's one of the best. It's the best game of the year, and it's not even out.
And it's probably the best game that Square Enix have published in probably about 5 years.
It's a Square Enix published game.
Yeah, they
that's the
picked it up
nonsense
after.
thing. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, they picked it up after it went into early access, if I remember right.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's no Quiet Man, but you know, it's,
I mean, it's not as self-serious as Lawnmower Simulator, but it's absolutely perfect. I love it.
Good.
It's totally worth playing.
You sold me on this.
I'm definitely going to look into it as well.
Yeah.
I think I actually just checked, and I have some copy of an early build of it installed on my computer, but I don't own it on Steam.
They have an itch.io demo before it went on to early access, because that was one of their things that they put together for. It's changed an awful lot since the demo, but the demo gives you the idea of how it works.
The flavor.
Yeah.
Can I plug like a light gun to my PC and play this game? Because if I can,
Lucy, what screen
I do not know.
uses a light gun? Light guns only work.
No, but you could use it. What do they do on IR?
What do you mean? Like light guns don't work on modern televisions.
Well, no, because you use like an infrared light gun on your PC.
I mean,
this sounds like
maybe. Yeah.
All right.
I bought Typing of the Dead recently.
Yeah, let's not.
Do you know what? I think my CPU's not hot enough. Infrared scan it until it goes so I can.
Could I hook up my Wii U's infrared and play Power Wash?
Let's not worry about this now.
I have absolutely no idea. I know a lot of people are asking for it on VR.
Lucy, I'm on it. I'll figure something stupid for you to try.
Yes. We'll follow up. We'll follow up with this in some hacked kind of way. And
definitely
let
worth
everybody know. Yeah.
Steam early access. Buy it.
Perfect.
Best 20 quid you'll ever spend.
On tomorrow, so hopefully maybe it'll be on sale. Maybe. I don't know. I don't have any insider information on that. Talk to your mates at Square, please.
A nice note to finish out on. A positive game to end the year on, which is brilliant.
That's great.
Thank you, Adam, for sharing your top 10 with us.
It's top 10.
Yes,
top 10. It's your top 10.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Let's jump back into our beers to finish out our episode this week. I am be very swift. I'm going to pick the uncertainty principle. More on the fact that I would have picked it up straight away again to drink. You know, if I had 2 cans sat here, it would have been very easy to roll straight into that second can. Lovely flavour, that lovely banana bread, a little bit of toffee, and that nice spice at the end, leading into that sort of very, very light bitterness. Really, really nice beer. The MMXX is lovely as well, but it's so big and so boozy that kind of 1 can is enough. Right. It feels like the kind of beer, even though it's only 10%, it's not sort of like, you know, you're not edging towards your 12, your 14% barley wines. It's only 10%, but it definitely feels like a beer that would have been better shared, with someone. So it's the uncertainty principle from Good Chemistry Brewing for me this week. Aadil, do you have a preference?
I do, but only a slight one, and I think it's along the same lines as you. Surprisingly, I would go for the 4 pure Oatmeal Stout again.
Yeah.
It was just light enough as a stout. It's like if you can call it a sessionable at 5% stout, it just had slightly more going on for it. In the sense of I would wanted to keep pursuing it. The aromatic Citra Pale Ale from Untapped was good. It was clean. It's also the wrong time of year, I guess, is the other thing. Like late night, it's been cold day. I'm not looking for a very clean Citra single hop with nice long bitter finish. Very good beer, but today I would want another one of the 4 beers, and that's the only reason. Yeah. Both very good beers, and this makes me more excited to look for more Untapped beers possibly looking them up on Untapped.
Good. Lucy, do you have a preference this week?
Yeah, like Aadil is. I mean, one's gonna edge out the other. The salt, the Imperial Brown Ale, that was it was disappointing. Like, you know, getting a bit of that roasty, dark malty flavor on like the end of the taste and in the nose, but wanted more from, like, you know, the main taste and a bit more body to it. So yeah, overall that was quite underwhelming. As I say, the Amundsen, the what was it called again? Does it have a name?
No, I don't
Pimp.
think you gave us a
Okay,
name,
that's
did you?
probably why. No, I didn't. That's probably why I bought it. It's called Pimp Stack.
Oh, buried the lead there.
Yeah, the you know, the PIMP stack. Just held up a copy of 50 Cent Blood on the Sand for me, which is very good, and my project over the winter to finish that game. Anyway, the Pimp Stack, yeah, it's probably not the kind of beer that I'd usually go for, like very. A is sour. Maybe I've gone off sours nowadays, and B, something that's like very. Oh, we're gonna throw all these words into it and all these different flavors and make it, you know, taste like this. And to be fair, it smelled like a blueberry muffin, and, you know, definitely, you know, carried through some of that on the taste. So, but overall, it's like it wasn't a bad beer. I think maybe just the naming and the kind of like, you know, kind of like, okay, we can do this, and it's like, yeah, sure, but should you? Like, maybe if they just call this like, oh, we're gonna make like a creek and just put creek on the bottle and or can and just be like that, it's just like, okay, cool, it tastes like a good beer. Overall, it's a good beer. So yeah, the nomenclature aside and the, you know, the style or whatever, it was still an easy drinking beer and like full of fruity flavor and not too sour, and yeah, it was good, easy drinking. I think this week bit of a downer on last week with the Mammoth, which was a very good beer despite looking very horrible. But yeah, this week I'm gonna be drunk all over Christmas because what else is there to do? So, you know, these are the two that are just like, get these out of the way, just, you know.
That's fair.
Drink
Absolutely.
me all of this.
Yeah.
Not that you lot are any lesser than the experience I'm gonna have watching my Game of the Year podcast on Christmas Day, because I ain't going nowhere with Omicron. So, yeah, but you know, yeah.
That's fair. No, absolutely.
What?
Nice.
I think good job with an episode next week when my beers aren't so disappointing.
Which, dear listener, you can tune into. Obviously, we're having a week off, but our end of year show with our favourite games is going to be up next week. So you will still have an episode to tune into. This week, though, there have been the beers, there have been the games that we have been playing, and Adam's top 10 for the year. Thank you very much for joining us. If you want to talk to us about the beers or the games that you've been playing, you can do so on the socials at TankTopCast. We are Out of Lives, and go to outoflives.net to see lots of other stuff that we put up. Adam, you're a regular sort of writer on the site and put up loads of stuff. Lucy, you've been putting up reviews and things. Aadil, you can see lots of his first looks streams up on the site, as well as seeing our beautiful faces and the beers that we drink on the video version of the podcast. If you're not over on the YouTube or you're not on the Twitch watching us live each and every week, we are Out of Lives net or network almost everywhere. I'm at Nova_47. Aadil is at the Omniarch. Lucy is Juicy Lucy 9. Adam is Apt Snack. Give us a shout. Let us know if you want to play Chivalry 2 with these people, or any other games that we should be looking out for, or any other beers that we should be researching.
Kill you in Babble Royale. Murder you.
Yeah, any of the games that we've been talking about. If you want to shout and play them with us, just drop us a line. But for another week, we've been tanked up. Goodbye.
Happy New Year.
Bye.
Yeah.
I mean,
God,
Happy
that was
New Year
depressing.
after next week.
I mean,
Year.
next week's episode, I think we got to the end of like 3 and a bit hours. I'm like, yeah, bye, thanks.
Yeah,
So yes, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, have a lovely time. We'll catch you
Yeah.
in
Good
the
one,
new year.
everyone.
All right.
Stay indoors. Play Exec.
Play games. Don't spread COVID.
Practice your washing, power washing. Get rid of all those viruses and nasty stuff.
Yeah.
www.outoflives.net